everybody. Welcome to Sports and Ish with Misty V and Rachael Leigh. We are so excited this week to have a very special guest, DJ Ekin from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is their official DJ. Ekin, tell everybody hi.
Hi, and I don't want to sound like, like I'm some guy or something, but please, moving forward, if you introduce me again, the undefeated, we're undefeated. We're undefeated. So, everybody can make that claim now. So I don't want to rub it in. I don't want to do anything extra, but, undefeated, we're undefeated right now, I mean, we only played the Cowboys.
We're one,
right?
Hey, look, if your brother was a Cowboys fan, this has been going on all summer. You've been waiting for this game. You've been waiting for this game all summer. That's all I can say. So, But I am glad that you guys have me here. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad that you're here. You're like, okay, so to be fair, I'm probably his biggest fan who's never actually met him in person. That's probably my fault, but
definitely, Misty, definitely.
It's my fault. I came to Tampa last March and he was like, you're in Tampa, you didn't say anything. I'm like, I am. I came down for work. You're like, well, doesn't matter. I'm on a plane to New York. It's fine. We're fine.
I am glad that we're buddies. And actually, I'm a big fan of you too, because I love what you do and just how you move. And I think I really love how you just don't take like anything. You're just kind of like, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Nothing's going to stop me. And I'm going to eat all this food and I'm going to do all this workout. And Ekin's going to feel like a lazy bum if he watches my story. But, it's still like I'm proud of you. Like I am super, so, but I am glad that you asked me to be on your pod today.
Why did you have to bring food into this? I don't get it.
Well, and I guess we're jumping into it. I probably am glad to talk to you guys too, because like I'm finally back on this like little workout thing, right? And you're like one of the people that I watch, right? But what's funny is because I don't know as much about it as you do, because it's not my thing, right? I'm trying to make myself get into it, right? And if you don't know, you swear like, oh, I gotta eat less because I'm only gonna lose weight, and I'm coming to find out that I don't even eat enough. Like they got me on this calorie counter thing. I don't think I've made it one day to 2,000 calories. I've not made it one day. And I'd be perfectly fine. But my trainer's like, you're never going to get where you're not eating enough. No. And then I watch you and, little kitchen videos and you're eating for the 7th time in one day before 5 o'clock. And I'm like, how is this happening? What am I doing wrong? So that's where the food thing came. It's that lets you know I pay attention to you guys. I pay attention. Like I know right now that your team is not the same as mine's, but it's okay. Because I watch you guys. Like, I'm a fan of you guys too. I know what the cheerleaders are doing. I know what you guys are doing. But you guys right now, like if I look at the standings, we're not all going to be in the same place, but it's okay. We're all family.
It's just the beginning now. It's just the beginning.
Rach, you can probably talk to him more about food than I can. I feel like Rach is a lot more dialed in and disciplined. Like we vacation together, always on my birthday, and I'll be sitting there like ready to like dial into the nachos, and she's like got her bag of sugar snap peas and her carrot sticks. She is Miss Help. She inspires me all the time. That is definitely Rachael. She's definitely more dialed in than I ever am, for sure.
It depends on the time. You got to have that balance, during season, before the season happens, I'm a little bit more strict, have to be, but when I can be holidays and game days, we burn a lot of calories. So after games, I can indulge a little bit. So it's all about that balance.
Okay. So without taking over your podcast real quick, can you guys give me
take over
2-3 steps that I'm doing wrong when it comes to the meal prep thing? Because I'm okay. Again, when you come on a pod to me, I'm supposed to be like as honest as I can be. I can't get the food prep thing down at all, because by the second day, so much food is wasted. I'm like, yo, I'm not eating that. I'm not even, I open the fridge constantly and I look right past it like nothing is there. So how do I wouldn't say master, because I'm not going to get that in a week, but let's set a small goal here. That way, when you guys come to hang out with me on my pod, we can see where I'm at. What's a small goal if I'm thinking of some sort of a food prep plan?
I guess one question I have are how are you with food in your house? Like, are the temptations there? Do you usually eat healthier, or what's your go-to snacks on a typical day?
Okay. And this is going to be a tricky answer because I honestly have it, but I don't. Because here's the thing. I don't really eat bad. Like, I eat a lot of chicken, a lot of baked food, a lot of fish, and I love vegetables. I don't have any problem with that. I don't eat a lot of candy. Even as much as I do parties, I don't drink much. I don't drink in my house at all because I don't bring liquor home. Sleeping may be an issue, but when it comes to food, right, I'll go to the store and I'll get like everything I think I need, and then I won't make it. Or
so
or like if I buy a bag of salad, right, I'll look at it 3 days and I'll be like, oh, this fourth day, this can't be good still. And I'll throw it away.
Yeah. So it's like the actually making the food and following through with that piece.
Boom, there you go. There may be my problem. So realistically, what should I be doing to start?
Yeah. See, my thing is if I have bad food, and like cookies, sweets, salty, like whatever in my place, I want it. So that's like my guilty pleasure is like, if it's here, I have zero self-control. So for me, I just don't have that around. When my schedule is crazy, which it is now during the season, it's like, I'm a planner, so I have to like schedule in time. So I'm like, okay, Sundays usually used to be my prep day. So I'd have all my food ready for the week. Sundays are game days. So now I have to switch that around and do Saturdays instead. So it's just like the consistency in making that time to do it, because it is time consuming to prep. Misty, you can probably vouch for that too.
It's like a second job. Like, I will try and meal prep on Sunday evenings, and then I usually have to do it again on Wednesdays because Wednesday evenings I have a little more free time. It literally is a second job. And even counting the calories, and we do macros, like protein grams and carb grams and fat grams. Like, it's a second job. It's very time consuming. But if you want that bad enough, you'll dial in and get it done. Like, sucks, but you have to get it done.
Well, I'm not sure if I have the right goals. Well, my goal here is look, and I'm a man. I'm just going to be honest.
You're a man? What?
My sister told me, with my complexion, right, and the fact that I've got really good skin, I'm right on the edge of a heavy 7.6, something like that, right? She said, if I get my weight in check and I'm not fatter, and she just if I get some tone, right, and I got an eating thing, right, she goes, my clothes are okay. She goes, I could be right next to a 9 on a regular. So that's my goal with this food thing. It's like, I'm sorry. I got these things, but so realistically, should I be shooting for like maybe 2 days of food prep? And even with that though, right? Like I don't have, I guess, a lot of the snack issues. Like, I have protein bars in my house. Popcorn is my thing, but I do eat, what is it? Skinny Pop. So I think I'm doing pretty good there. Right. So I still need to figure out, like, how do I, is it 2 days I should go be my goal first? Or should I just try to eat? Because I'll sit around until like 1 o'clock, like, oh, you haven't even eaten breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to eat some breakfast. You got to eat something.
Breakfast is a huge deal. Like, so to get your metabolism, so the whole thing is to basically reteach your metabolism. And the most important thing you're going to do is eat when you wake up. You have to like train your metabolism to understand that you're going to feed it, and you're going to feed it something worthy, and to get that metabolism cooking, which is why I personally eat like 5 to 6 meals a day. It's my metabolism. And I'm not young. We know I'm old now.
And those legs. I mean, you got to feed those legs. I've seen them you got to feed those. I'm sorry. I'm so off. I'm sorry.
Wait, are you calling them thick, or are you saying that they're nice? I'm confused.
Put it this way. Let me put it this way. Every guy I've shown your picture, I show him that one of you in the black dress, and that believe me, it's not in no ways not a compliment. Believe me when I tell you. No,
it's not a compliment. Wait, so they think
I mean not in a way of it not being a compliment. That it very much is a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
I was like,
sorry,
wait,
didn't come out.
Should I be eating more sugar snap peanuts?
No. No. I've been asked what you're eating, and I go, I don't know. Maybe it's a lot of sugar snap.
Whatever, it's working, right?
Yeah, it's working. It's working, dude. I go, dude, it's working, dude. It's working.
I think too, as we age, I mean, it's no secret, I'm in my 40s. You can look at my social profiles and see that I'm in my 40s. But I think that as we age, we have to be very conscious of our metabolism because it changes. The things I could get by with in my 30s, I definitely cannot get by with now. And I learned that over a weekend of eating garbage, and it catches up. But anyways, Ekin, I'm here for you. Like if you wanna talk macros, you wanna talk workout plans.
I know. What are you doing? What are you doing workout wise?
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it. I mean, I agree. Everybody says, what you're doing from a nutrition standpoint is majority, but workout does play into that, and how you're eating around your workouts is huge as well. So what is your workout kind of schedule?
My workout has just kind of restarted, and I'm trying to get to like 3 days in a week. And right now they just kind of have me on getting back to movement, because what had happened was I had surgery on my arm. And then right as that got well, I'm thinking I'm being a good son to go see my mom on Christmas Day. And I'm sitting at a light and some guy falls asleep in his car and hits me. So I don't miss my plane at 7 a.m, but I do spend the next couple of hours with a cop and have to bring my car back to my garage all torn up or whatever. And then I flew out of here. So then I had to get well from that. So I'm just now really starting to get movement. So the first thing they're trying to get is like, well, I have small goals. Get my sleep in order, because I'm good with like 3 hours a day,
Stop. 3 hours? That's it?
Man, we got to get to the money, man. These parties are not going to throw themselves. Okay. Now, I'm just saying. No.
He is a DJ.
Yes, that is true. Okay, that makes sense.
This man is a DJ in Tampa.
Right. No, I have gotten to that. I've gotten better at that. I try to get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And right now it has been a lot of like movement when it comes to workout. And I'm really just trying to make sure that I get there and be consistent like 3 days a week. And I'm being totally honest with you, because I figure if I'm not honest with you guys can't give me real advice, and I'll be like cheating myself. So,
no. That's great.
So it hasn't really been a lot of weights and stuff yet. But then I also tell her too, I don't just want to be no weight person, because I know a lot of dudes who are like big and bulky and they can't like walk a flight of stairs. I don't want to be that guy. Like I want to be like, right. True. I want to get on my bike. I want to play tennis. I want to get back to bowling. So I want to kind of be active and toned at the same time. But right now it's just kind of like body weight stuff, movements and stuff like that. A lot of like lunges, which I hate. I don't know who was the guy who thought that we needed those. Why do we need those?
They're so important. It's just a multi-plane movement. It's so important.
So if that's important, then why is the plank important? They can't all be as important. Why do we need the plank? I'm not a cheerleader. Why do I need the plank?
It's all about that core. All about the core.
Cheerleader just jumps right in with her little core. It's the core. That's why you do these planks, That's the core,
Yeah, okay. No, it's so fun. It's funny you say that though, because I do know, and Misty, I'm sure you do as well, some people that are like straight, I need to go work out at the gym and weight lift and do all that stuff. And that's straight what they focus on. And you forget that cardio is so huge as well. And like you said, then they go do some cardio and they're like huffing and puffing and wondering. It's two different dynamics that you need to both have a balance of when you're working out. You can't forget about the other one. So I know I make it a point with my workouts to kind of go back and forth. I do think weight training is huge. And I do like to do that, but also I can't do that a ton during the season because we're doing a ton of cardio and dancing and all the technique stuff that comes with it. So I'm not trying to be super, super sore and build a ton of muscle and all of that. So it's kind of a balance for me where I know, Misty, you can have a little bit more fun with the weights. But having those two is good. And like you said, coming off from, some injuries and things like that, you kind of got to slowly get into it. So that's when the nutrition piece becomes kind of the starting point. So I think you're thinking of it in the right way. Absolutely.
That was a nice way of telling me my execution sucks. Like,
no, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Ekin, you are really thinking the right way. But let me just tell you something about your execution. Your execution is flawed.
No, it's a process. It's a process, and it's like you get one point down, and you focus on that, and then that becomes super easy, and then you can start kind of moving and progressing that way. So no, I think you're thinking of it, and you're doing the things that you need to be doing. It's hard though. It's not easy. People think, oh, it's easy. Tomorrow I can, have this awesome physique and this great body and this awesome endurance. And you're like, no, it takes time. It takes
a long time, but you just got to stay consistent and stay consistent. It happens. Now for me, I mean, I've had so many coaches in the past that were like, food is just fuel. And if you look at it that way, you'll be fine. And I'm like, no, food is heaven. I'm a foodie. I feel like every one of the coaches that I've had in the past were just like, no, it's fuel and I can eat this way forever. And I'm like, no, see, that's where you're wrong, because I'm going to need some Oreos and some pizza by the end of the week. So talk to me. When can I have that? So for me, it's again, what Rachael said, it's about balance. So I will try to do my best at least 85% of the week. And that's clean foods and non-processed garbage. And then the other 15%, I'm going to go out to eat. I'm going to clean a whole pizza. Like, I'm not the chick I'm not going to a restaurant and I'm not going to order the same stuff I prep at home. You know what I mean? I'm the chick that goes to the restaurant and I want to order what they're known for. And if that's ribs and if that's pizza, that's what I'm going to eat. I'm not there to eat like I do at home. If I go to a restaurant, I'm going to eat everything I want to eat at that restaurant. I'm not going to hold back. So that's what I try to do at least once a week. Once a week, I try to take myself out, typically after I spend a long evening with your favorite team, the Bengals. So when I spend my evening with them, I usually go out to eat. Like, I finish around 9 p.m. I go to this barbecue place called Smoke Justice, and I clean house. Like, they have my order down. I call them. They're like, Misty. I'm like, yep, it's ready in 15. I show up, pick it up. I come home. I eat everything I want of it. And then that's the big meal for the week. Everything else is clean, usually. Unless I'm on vacation, but.
So, thoughts on a meal prep service? Because here's another thing. Right? My mom comes here and we don't buy anything like the first day. I'll be like, okay, mom, you just want to come down to see everything. And then she cooks. And I'm like, well, where did all the gravy and all this stuff come from that's in the food? Because when I make it, there's none of this stuff. There's like chicken and still the seasoning I poured on top. None of it's like actually in the food and how it's all like tasting in the food when she comes here. I'm like, you had to have something in your purse. She goes, no, I just used what you had in the cabinet. And I go, something's not right here because I can't get that part right.
You can't make it taste that good.
I think it's a mom thing. A mom thing. When my mom came to visit me in Cincinnati, and she did some cooking too. And I was like, all right, mom, I need to be super healthy. Like, you want to make veggies? Great. Awesome. Whatever. And she makes, and it's like doused in oil and all the seasoning and all this butter. And I was like, wait. I thought we were trying to make some healthy food here. And she's like, yeah, this is vegetables. I'm like, no, it's terrible. Like all the chicken, like you said, with the gravy and this and that. And I think it's a mom thing. I don't know, but I feel you on that.
Yeah,
How do you cook? Do you cook on the stove? Do you bake in the oven? Do you air fryers are my go-to. Like, amazing. I can put chicken in the air fryer, walk away for, 15, 20 minutes. Boom, I come back. It is good to go. Like, that stuff is key.
So basically what you're saying is you want to go back to that point you were making earlier about my preparation is good, but my execution is trash. Is that what you're doing? Because if you're talking gadget, I have every single one. Air fryer, crock pot.
You have all that.
I have them all. Look, man, I wake up and I look online and I go, oh man, I need that. Oh man, this is gonna work. And I get it all here. I have it all here. I have the food. I have the vegetables. And then I'm like, I am so busy right now. And I walk right by the kitchen as if like you said, the food wasn't like something that was super important for me to even make it through the day. I'll walk by the kitchen and be like, oh, let me grab this peach though when I'm out. When I'm out. No meal or nothing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't eaten. So again, I think it's to her point. It's like, I guess, settle to you guys' point of like just settling down and actually executing some of this stuff because I do. I have an air fryer. I have the apps for a couple of recipes, but I just feel like sometimes I don't have the time.
Well, it's that, and it's also like knowing what tasty recipes work with what too. Like I've had friends that are like, oh, you need to try this. And then I try it. I'm like, how have I not known about this? Like, and it takes me 15 minutes to make. Boom. So I think it's a combination of all of that stuff. So we'll send you some recipes. We'll send you some tips and tricks.
Yeah. We have good ones.
I knew I was in the right place today.
We got you.
I knew it. Look at those pictures, abs and thighs. This is the right place to
be. So Ekin, take us through your week. What does a normal week look like for you? Like work and everything. Because I know your job, but tell the people.
3 hours of sleep. You must.
What your week looks
crazy
like.
Busy.
Yeah, this guy's busy.
I will say this. Like it's super busy now because I'm going through a shift. Right. My life starts out with, I moved here to go to school in Florida, right? And I moved because I want to go. I was in Atlanta running around, knowing all these music people, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just in everything. And I was like, I'm going to come down here and go to school. And I come here and I go to school. But I did vow when I got here, a couple of things were going to happen. I was going to immediately dive into what got me started. And that was actually my turntable. So the DJ. And then number two, I would only answer to Ekin. Because what I always was afraid that would happen, which is crazy, I was always afraid that two people would be talking about me, right, with an opportunity. And one would be saying Bobby, which is my real name, and another person would be saying Ekin. And they'd be talking about the same person, but I'd miss it because they thought they were talking about two different people, right? So I've just been totally on my brand and on this thing, right? And it sticks. And another big thing to me is that it's one of those names that not everybody's going to have. So I have to make sure that when I do things, I represent it well. So fast forward, radio, life, this, that, and the other. And where I'm at right now is my 5th year of DJing for the Bucks. The podcasting has really taken a big thing in my life where it's kind of with radio influences help and just moving around and finding the space, it's become like a thing. Right. But in that, I made a decision as we walked into January of this year that it was time for a shift because with as many parties as I do, I kind of don't enjoy, I wouldn't say the party and the people because I love the energy, but I don't enjoy, I think, the music as much as I did. When I got into this, it was a big love for the music. And I come from where hip hop started, which is Bronx, New York. And the guy who's credited with starting hip hop, I am fortunate enough that my sister went to high school with this guy. So Kool Herc has actually been to my house. My brothers were in his crew, right? So I'm kind of like that kid. So hip hop means a little bit of a different thing to me. And what means even probably more to me now as it kind of goes together is not only my love for this hip hop and the overall culture, but my love for the next generation of creatives and paying it forward for them, right? So yeah. I've had a nonprofit called I Care About Me for 8-9 years. And it's kind of been like this thing. I just kind of do little things here. Right. But I never was like, this is totally going to be like what I want to do. Mm. And as I thought about this shift and what I wanted to do, I just started praying a lot and was like, because someone once told me this and I swear I hate to tell this story because and it's not like, oh, okay, let me be clear. It's not like I don't have a dislike for my ex, right? But it's like a moment that I have to give her, right? I have to. And that's when you're a guy, you're like, I don't want to give her this moment. But she told me one time, she said she felt like God would give me things and I would try to tweak them instead of taking them exactly how he gave them to me. Right.
Okay,
and her point with that was he would just show me stuff. Like, he's like, yo, this is you right here. And I would always feel like that wasn't quite it. I had to shift it a little bit to be what I wanted it to be. And for as long as I remember, as long as I've been in this stuff, the love for hip hop and the love for the game has been there, being in it and making things happen, that sort of thing. And the love for when I'm around kids and that energy and showing them things and stuff like that. And lo and behold, we create this program called Hip Hop Study Hall. And what Hip Hop Study Hall has become, it went from being a program that I took into schools and the pandemic hit, but I just kept praying like, God, what is this? What should it be? What should it be? And it's become this online learning platform that we're building along with this content creation piece where I get to kind of be like the Anthony Bourdain of hip hop, right? Where I just get to fly. Like we're just literally hopping on planes and going to where people work at and just chopping it up with them. Like we were in Google, which was like I was like a kid in it. We haven't even released that interview yet, right? My man Max, he invited us out to Google, and it was just the amount of opportunity I saw in there to be able to show the next generation of kids, right? So we're just on this mission to be the bridge between education and culture. And I just feel that we can, because I feel like so many kids are learning in a different way now. No, I think the preaching of the 4-year college thing, you can't just do it to this new set of kids, right? Because they're learning in so many different ways, right? So you kind of have to run beside them and coach them, but also listen. Like you can't talk at them. You have to listen, because they'll tell you how they're trying to learn and you'll figure out what they're into, and you just can't turn them off as if what they're doing is wrong. And that's where I've always been good in that space where I run beside my kid and the kids and be like, yo, like, what you into? And I learn from them as I'm going. And that's what's allowed us to make this thing that we're building right here. I'm super proud of it. I wake up every day and want to do it like even more. And it's crazy because I love to find out what people actually get to do. I think that's the coolest thing. And it's like, I'm not doing the typical interview where it's like, hey, so your baby mama, right? And she was on live, right? And, you know, like y'all got fighting in a club, right? I don't. I get to talk to people about really cool things that they're doing with like technology, people like yourself that are into fitness, cheerleading, and these things that are going on. And I think what it also does is it shows our kids these opportunities that are there that they don't see in their neighborhood, right? Some of these things when I started talking to people at Amazon, some of these job titles I never knew were even associated with something like a marketing job or things that they're just into. You know, I just never knew what these job titles would ever be. And I think to get to show these things out there to kids who are like, that think that they don't have a chance is like the coolest thing in the world, you know? And so that's a good third of my life right there. The other piece that we're building at the same time right beside that is I've been on this thing about creating experiences, and in particular for women, because I think that as guys, we don't do it right. By that, I mean like events and stuff like that, right? We open doors and it's like, hey, come, right? Come, give me $80 and what are you coming to, right? And I think having sisters and being the baby and that sort of thing, you kind of learn that you guys are all about experiences, right? So we can create an environment. The talent and stuff is kind of a last fit. It's what that environment is. And the talent to me is the add-on. So next March, which I won't announce it, but next March, we're planning something that's super big that we're working actually probably with the city with. It's going to be like super, 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 I'm super excited about. So that's kind of like my life right now, just working on the shift. And then of course I DJ for this little undefeated team down here that has the GOAT as the quarterback. We beat America's team last night. But they're just a small team. I mean, they're
Dallas. Who's Dallas? Who's Dallas anyway? Like,
yeah, well, Dallas is a pretty big deal. I mean, they never win anything really significant, but they're a really big deal. Their marketing is great. I mean, they're labeled as America's team. They got this really great stadium. They just never win anything significant. And when I send my brother this link to watch this podcast and listen to it, I want to say that again. They never win anything significant. They just like they have great marketing, America's team, all that kind of stuff. And their fans are like, their fans are next level with the belief. I mean, like if it was a church, it would be crazy. It really would. It would be crazy. Like it would really be. But you know, so that's my life. And on the Rec Daily, what I have gotten good at, and you guys, hey, talking execution, I've gotten better to understand time. And by that, I mean, like it is the most important thing. And I didn't know that for a long time. I was like, oh, it's got to be grinding. I got to be grinding. But I've realized that now you can say, hey, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to enjoy myself and go have a meal, or I'm going to go see a new experience. I'm not kayaking yet or paddleboarding as some of my friends do when they're in Florida, but I'm doing some different things. So I'm having a good time right now, so that's it. And, somewhere in there, I drop in 5-6 hours of sleep in a day. That's the new goal. So we're having fun with it though. So
I think one of the biggest thing I learned in my 40s throughout this process is that time is a commodity. You can't buy that back. And when you decide to offer anyone or anything or whatever it is, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of your time, what is that worth to you? Not what it's worth to other people, but what is it worth to you? Because we can't get that time back. So I think you have developed a way that you want to actually give that time and make it a true commodity for you. Like, and that's what's important, because you can't, again, I don't care what other people want from me personally. It's what I want to give, where I think my time is best spent. Again, it's a commodity. So my time is a commodity. Everybody else's time to me is a commodity. You joining us here tonight is a commodity. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate Rachel's and Jason's, but that's reality. The older you get, the more you realize, like, we don't have a ton of time. Right. This is it.
Well, it's finding your purpose and finding what you want that to be. And obviously, like you've said, like giving back to the kids and opening their eyes to the opportunities that are outside and that they may not know are available to them is the really important factor that I think we have as adults, bringing up this next generation. I can say the same thing. Like, I'm in the financial world, and when I started out, I had no idea. I worked at a bank to start off, and I was like, oh, there are all these different opportunities that I had no idea. Like you said, you can get into marketing, you could be in finance, you could be, in digital, you could, like, so many avenues inside one company, let alone like across the United States, internationally. There's so many different avenues. So I think it's huge for us to kind of give back in that way, however we can. So that's awesome that you're able to do that and do have an impact on their lives, which is huge. So how did that all kind of come about? So I know, like, you kind of mentioned you were struggling a little bit, it sounds like, with finding, yourself in the music world still, and were able to kind of find that passion of yours. Talk me through, like, what that was like for you, how you kind of created this awesome thing.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is, from the minute I got in radio, I always knew that I wanted to have a nonprofit. The thing about it was, I just didn't know actually what I'd be doing. I just knew I wanted to, because I just knew I wanted to do something back for the community. And I said I wanted to start my own nonprofit. So I had a really awesome accountant named David King. He's passed away. And when I told David about it, David was like, okay, I'll help you get it started. And one of the first things I did, even in radio, is I'm very big on opportunity. And by that, I mean, like, we can fill out all the applications and send in all the resumes you want, right? And you can be great at something, but you're never gonna, unless you're given the opportunity, no one will ever know, right? And one of the things that I talk about most is building relationships, right? Because I think that almost everybody that gets out of school with you is going to have some sort of knowledge. It's the person that knows people or has shaken a bunch of hands that usually gets their name on a desk first, though, right? Right. It really is. And people, like a lot of our kids, because of this phone and this device, they're losing that. So one of the first things I did was my moniker at radio and here in Tampa was Tampa's most connected DJ. Still kind of is, but I just kind of don't ring it all the time. And by that, I meant was, I don't care about being the number one DJ here. I never have. I didn't even care about being the best. I knew I was good and I knew I was in the top echelon because of how I move. But that wasn't what I preached. What I preached was, if I call you, though, you'll pick the phone up because you want to hear from Ekin, because you know it's something that matters. And if you come into my city, you're going to call me. And when it kicked off, if you were remotely associated with hip hop, you did not come to Tampa and not call me. If you were coming to the city, around the city, you called me. And that was how it started. And my first nonprofit was called Connections. And I simply went on one principle: building relationships one handshake at a time. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I had time and I knew I had access to artists. So I started this thing called Speaker Series, and I would just go to schools and walk in with, like, Ludacris, Bow Wow, Young Jeezy. We would just walk in places and be like, oh my God. And we just talk to the kids. And that, to you guys' point, that's time, right? So it was really great because it was a time thing. It was like, we actually took the time to come to your school. We would go and do whatever. And again, back to the point about God, right? I feel like He knows what He's doing. We don't even know when He don't even know He's doing it, right? So a guy named Mano is a rapper out of Brooklyn, and Mano is at 16 years old. Mano was locked up for strong arm robbery of a drug dealer. Now, this is a wild kid in Brooklyn. While he's in jail doing the 5 years, he gets 5 more because that's how bad he is. So he winds up from 16 to like 25, 26 that he's locked up. But within that time, he was like, you know what? I'm going to flip this. And so he starts working on raps and getting more into rap and whatever. And by the time he gets out, he just really starts using his connections, and he comes up with this record called High Hater, gets signed, gets a bit of a buzz, and he blows. And he comes here on a promo run, and him and his team hit me like, oh, Ekin, we want to go somewhere. You know, I don't necessarily, if you kind of guide me through like this talk or whatever, but I just want to go with you to one of your schools you speak to. And we go to a place here that's by the stadium called Leslie Peters Halfway House. And this is why I always say the God thing has got to be true, because Leslie Peters Halfway House is a kid in Tampa's last chance before they get real jail. Oh. So these kids are pretty much Mano. So what better guy could I have to take in there than this guy Mano, right? So Mano and I, we go there. And when we walk in, it's the ooh and the ah, from the jewelry, the sneakers, everything, right? But by the time we finish telling his story of what he, of what he's gone through, of the experiences he had in jail, how rough it really was, how it's not really this cool place that the rappers are trying to make it out to be. There's tears in the room. The mood has totally changed to like, wow. But the messaging we wanted to leave them with was, you can't change what has already happened. But what you can do is from this moment forward, right here, start to make positive steps to what you want your future to be. And when we were done, it was just like a totally different mood where it wasn't all bad, but you could see it was like a new kind of way of thinking. And one of the counselors, they started asking us questions, and the counselor was like, yo, Ekin, yo, Mano, like, why do you think these kids have like no respect for this, and they do this and they do that and do this, whoop-de-whoop? And Mano was like, well, we don't place no value on ourselves. So if my life don't matter, your life mean even less. And from that right there, I kind of had another shift. And that's when I came up with I Care About Me, which is what my nonprofit's name is now. And it was in its simplest of forms, thoughts to me that if I could get a kid to understand that they matter, then I can get you to say career, neighborhood, other people, the world. But if you don't think that you matter, how are you going to care about some old lady walking across the street? How are you going to care about somebody's property? How are you going to care about the air? You don't care because you don't think you're going to be here past 25. At least the inner city kids that I go and deal with on the regular, that I see, you know, because I go everywhere, right? These kids don't even think they're so waiting for their friends to be on a t-shirt. You know, so if you can get them to understand that they don't need the new Jordans to matter. Yes, they're cool sneakers to have. And yes, we all want Yeezys at some point because it's a cool thing. But you don't need that to matter. You don't need the new car to matter. You simply matter because you are you. And that is this in its simplest of forms. That's the messaging that we started with I Care About Me. And like I said, from that, it really became a series. It became the speaker series thing. It became content creation. And then it became, what am I going to do to really make this something? And, you know, and then I started talking to people that actually had nonprofits that they were dealing with every day. And I was like, okay, what's the work I got to do to really make this something other than just like this cool thing that people call me and go, we know Ekin has connects. And they were like, you got to have programs. You got to like get your business and all this kind of stuff up. And that's when we started working on the programs and the things that we work on now. Because like I said, in this 2-year shift that I'm doing, it's all I want to be doing which is a year and a half now as we keep moving, you know what I'm saying? And the biggest part of that has become the hip hop study hall program, you know, because it gives people something to support, something that, you know, that they can say they're a part of, that's actually moving the needle, that sort of thing. And that's really how I got here. But it didn't really start to show itself, to your point, though, until I said I would pray. And then what would happen was, this is it. And I don't really change it. I just kind of like go. And if I hit a bump in the road, okay, I got to work through that. And it's a lot of it haven't even really been bumps. They've been just me learning things because it's not my space. You know, my space is, I think from here in my heart. But what I've had to do was get with people who specialize in things like yourself, right? Financial, right? And I talk to you about, okay, how should we do with the money? And how do we do this? How do we apply for grants? And what's really crazy about me is, and the people that are around me, is that we come from hip hop, right? And so when you come from hip hop like we do, we don't care if you don't give us nothing. we're going to find a way to get it. And then you're going to come and want to be a part of it, which is what we've done, you know, because everybody that I talk to is like, oh my God, well, you got to do these grants and you got to do this. You know, we know how to do it. We know how to get the party. So we just do events to raise money. And we always do something that has something to do with something else, because I'm not going to argue with people who've been doing it the old school way and know how to get all the money the old way. And I got to fight for $27. I'm not going to do that, but I'm still going to get out there and we're going to do it. And we just do the work. I mean, coming from hip hop, you just kind of understand that we weren't supposed to be here. And that's how I feel. Like, I feel like we weren't supposed to be here, but now we're worth like billions of dollars. So now you got to deal with us. And in order to get to these kids, you need us, because you don't even know how to talk to them. You know, while you're busy telling them that they're wrong for being in the phone, I'm in there talking to them because that's where they are.
Right.
You know,
oh, I love every bit of it. You're right. You're basically taking it and doing one of my favorite things is disrupting it. Like, forget what everybody else did. You saw a different way. You saw it your way, and your way is the magic right now. Like, it's disruption. You're going to disrupt what everybody else was thinking or doing. You saw something that was going to be a great thing for kids and for everybody else, and you're going to do it. So I'm proud of you. I'm ridiculously proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud to say I know you.
I feel like this, you guys, I want to ask you guys, like, I feel like there are only, like, everybody talks about all these different people in the world. I really feel like there are only two kinds of people in the world.
Okay.
I feel like there are tweeters and there are retweeters. And the tweeters, we are actually out there living. Doesn't matter what you're into, right? Like, you guys are into cheerleading and sports, right? There's probably a time when they say, hey, women only do in sports what we tell them to do. And you guys are getting up every morning, and the women before you that started it and let you and made you guys decide you wanted to do it and was like, we're going to get out here and we're going to do it. And then now you guys are in it, right? And you guys are not just sitting back taking what they tell you has to be. You guys are doing things, right? Yes, you are in the rules and you know that there are rules, whatever, but you also are building your own things and stuff like that. You guys, to me, are like tweeters. You're actually out there living and going through the actual experience. The screen watchers, the retweeters, that always they read data, which means that they're needed kind of, but a lot of them, they read data on our experiences, right? Yeah. And they go, oh, this is the way things are trending. When every single day they're hoping to keep up because we trend somewhere every single day. We just go.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And that's how I feel like the world is. And I don't want to be a retweeter where I'm just hopefully living off of someone else's experiences. I want to be able to create my own.
Create your own for everybody else for a better purpose, period.
I think it's the struggle nowadays. Everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody doesn't want to kind of pave their own path or take a chance on something. And I feel like you have to, especially when you're passionate about something, or you have to listen to yourself, and you have to, do what's best for you. And also just not have, anything holding you back. You gotta not be appealing to everybody. Nobody's ever gonna 100% absolutely love you, every person on the planet. Like, once you accept that fact that, people are going to judge you, people aren't going to like you, but as long as you can be, happy and accept yourself and do the things that make you want to live, like that's what it's all about. And I think that's kind of to your point, like, the retweeters are the ones that are just kind of living in the moment of other people. Oh, that person did it, so I'm going to follow them. I'm going to do this because, oh, that person's going to like me because XYZ. Like, that's just, I think, kind of the world that we live in nowadays. So it's like, are you going to do stuff for yourself, or are you going to do stuff for, what you think other people are going to think of you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of like how I feel. And I also feel like this. I feel like the biggest disservice you can do to anybody that you supposedly care about, or when you're saying like you care about these kids, is to have the information and let them make the same mistakes you did without telling them that it's going to be a mistake. Right. Yeah. Yep. I've never understood having information. Perfect example. I'll use Jason as a perfect example. Jason has become like one of the best resources to me with learning the podcasting and being a part of Radio Influence. I just know a lot of times what I want to say. But when it came to understanding how to move the podcast around and that sort of thing, I was like, yo, I had tried to do it myself. It was like so much work. I was like this, that, and the other. And then Jason and I started talking and we start working together. I feel like it's a disservice to anyone who tells me that they want to try it, whether they're not sure or not to refer them to a path that can help them make the life easier. Because it's enough, right, with you guys saying, we want to try this new thing, right? We want to do this podcast. It's enough with getting the time. It's enough with it being a new thing that you guys didn't normally do, right? I come from radio, so it was a little different for me, right? You guys saying we want to do it. And then it's like, what making sure we talk about stuff that's interesting, trying to get the marketing up, get the guests. Like, I just feel like if I call you a friend, it's a disservice that I'm doing you to be like, well, I got a resource that might be able to help you. Now, what you do with it is on you, but I'm going to refer you and then you can decide if it works for you. It's the same way I feel about kids. Like, we already know, like, I come from the Bronx. I already know that there's nothing in the streets. I was so fortunate. It's like, I grew up playing baseball and we don't have this now, right? All the hustlers and the bad kids that my brother knew, they never wanted me to be a bad kid. No. Like, that's what was so crazy. Like, they were like, they didn't. Right. I'd be coming outside. They'd be like, you got a game today, shorty? I'd be like, yeah. So maybe on the block for 5 minutes, I throw the ball with them. They'd be like, hey man, get off the block, man, go to practice. I could never stand on the block on the stoop where they were doing the dirt at. It was never that. It was like, yo, shorty, like, come on, man, go. Don't make me tell your brother. And the hoodlums would be at my baseball games all the time. Like, in the stands, show up and be like, yo, we here. And they acted accordingly because my mom and my parents and other families were there. But I knew they were the hoodlums from the block. But they always were telling me, yo, man, I saw 2 hits last week. And they were always encouraging too, because they figured I had a chance. And they were like, not to be like, yo, we want you to be the biggest hustler too. They were like, nah, bro, like, go do something. You going to school. And I just feel like we do such a disservice to try to encourage with the phone is a gift and a curse, right? Because we're in a world of cliff notes, right? Think about it. No, these clips are a minute that we see tops, right? 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops, right? And it's all snackable content, and everybody runs with the story from there. Remember when the news used to just be the actual facts? It'd be like, this is the story: who, what, when, and where. Now it's like who, what, when, and hold on. I got Rachael and I got Misty here, and we're going to give different opinions, and we argue for like 30 minutes, and I don't even know what the story was now. It's become opinions. It's not even news anymore. And that's the world we're living. So I don't know.
That's true. It's true. No, you're not wrong. It is all opinion based anymore.
Just trying to hold my little world together. That's all. Just trying to hold my little world together. You know. So
talking about your childhood and kind of where you got today, what kind of kept you on that path to, keep your head on and, focus and keep going and pursue your dreams? Because I know, growing up, it is a struggle. You have different paths that you can go down, and you have different, struggles that you're dealing with. So what kind of kept you on that path of, becoming, what you are today?
I guess in the simplest forms, like, I just always wanted my own. Like, I have struggled sometimes with execution because I have like 9,000 ideas. Like, probably on this phone call, I've gotten like 4. Like, literally on this, because I'm constantly with an idea. What I've had to learn is to hone it in and execute said idea and then move to something else. Cause I have ADHD, which is really like squirrel,
I was going to ask you, right. I have ADHD and I wasn't diagnosed until my mid-30s. I was just going to ask you, sound like me.
Right. But I've never had any lack of drive and getting up in the morning and just wanting to get to it. Right. Like I will constantly go, and there's probably 2 things with that. My mom always used to say, God bless the child that's got his own. So I've always wanted to have my own, so that way, if all else fails, my mom used to always be like, I don't care if you got a cardboard box, it's yours. And you can go back to your cardboard box and it's yours. She just, it doesn't always have to be the biggest place, but it's yours. Right. And so I always wanted to be able to have mine. And so that's been probably part of the drive. And then the other part too is I just always felt like I can do it. Like, I've always felt like, like, I got friends and people around me. I've always felt like if one of my boys makes $1 million, I give him a round of applause, and then I'm on my way to try to make 1.5 because he's shown me how to get to that first $1 million. Right. And then, like I said, I am really truly a hip hop kid. And we've always felt like if you're a real hip hop kid and not what it is become now, it's about a kid of the culture that we love the complete culture, right? Then you always feel like that there's something that we can do to keep control of our own. And one of the biggest things with me too, with this shift too, is there's been a lot of money made in Tampa when it comes to hip hop. Like there's been a lot. When I say millions and billions of dollars, when I say we are probably one of the most money making, like when it comes to
really,
oh my God, like I could, yes.
I'm not familiar with Tampa, so you got to shed this light. Yeah, you got to shed this light.
Well, let me shed another piece of light on you. Here's the thing about Tampa. Tampa is to me a city that it's very diverse, right? We do have that, but it's not diverse to me when it comes to like ownership of like buildings and stuff like that. And it's a two-sided coin. For one, some things are grandfathered in, and then some things are the way people are taught, right? And the way people are taught to me that are not of Black and brown descent, they're taught growing up ownership, property, that sort of thing. Black people, brown people, a lot of times we're taught money and that's what you see in pictures and show my money and this sort of the other. And that's not real wealth. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff to us is fame before actual security. You understand what I'm saying? Before financial security, it's fame. I know so many people that are famous as hell and they barely have rent. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of followers, and it's 3 of them living in a house because they can't afford rent by themselves, but they are famous as hell, you know? And so what happens with that is, in Tampa, it became this thing too of, we pay the most money. We pay money for things and we don't even have it. Right. Yeah. Like, so, when you guys go to a party, what do you normally pay for cover? Yeah, that was almost disrespectful, right? Look, you both are like covered. Like, what is that?
What is that?
We're going to go inside and we're going to have these drinks. That's what we're going to do. We're not paying at no door. Right. In the Black and brown population, it's almost standard that we know to pay 10 or 20 bucks at a door. This is without any act or anything inside. This is what you just are growing up to understand. It's 10 or 20 bucks at a door. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas when I got here and I started moving around, and I was different because I was a lot of times in the business of me as opposed to just being, oh, he's the DJ at the night. I'm usually in the business of me, which meant that I come from a world where I was taught, like, I got money to invest in this party. So I'm in the money of the party, right? I'm not just DJ, pay me, get out. No, I'm in probably some of this money that's made from this party's mine. Yeah. So I've always been a different animal when it comes to that. And there's only a couple of me that look like me that are like that here in Tampa. So what happens with that is, okay, we're already paying more at the door, right? So you already got money from the door that you don't get from any other nationality here because they don't pay it.
So even women too pay?
She's like, wait a minute, I'm confused by this concept.
But this is why I know that you guys are going to be, because I have a very good friend here. Her name is Jillian, right? Jillian was instrumental in me moving into a lot of different spaces because she was one of the sales reps here at when I was at iHeart, right? And Jillian was from Chicago, right? Irish. And Jillian and her friends, she would tell me, like, her friends would, like, literally, they would call places like, what's the drink special? And if it didn't sound right, they weren't even going there. They didn't even think about it. Weren't even thinking about going there. And if they set a cover, they definitely weren't thinking about going there. But then I would show her, like, parties that I was doing. And she was like, they're literally paying us at the door. And maybe, to Rachel's point, before 11, ladies in free. Maybe. If we're generous, right? It's a Tuesday night. It's a Wednesday night. But let me tell you about this one Friday night party I was having.
Okay.
Before I got the party, when I first went to this place, and Jillian was instrumental in me getting this deal, it was a place, right? We go there, and this place was like, I wanted to be there because they had a very, like, diverse crowd. It was like a really dope spot. And I go to have this meeting with them, and they go, you know what, Ekin, man, I love the brothers, man. But if a club turns black, and, you know, here in Tampa, as crazy as it is, if a club is known as a black club, everybody doesn't go there. It's like, I'm not going there. And I guess that could be where it is around the country, but I'm here in Tampa, so I'm speaking on that, right? And so I go, okay, fine. Like, I want a diverse party. So it's up to you to control the door, dude. And it's not really that it's black or any color. It's that you have to control the people you let in here. And one of the things I really told him, I said, dude, don't let an athlete or anybody else tip your doorman to be out of dress code. Because once I got you, I got you. So which means that if I show up at your door, right, and I'm out of dress code, and I give you $20 to let me in with a t-shirt and sweatpants on, I got you, buddy. I got you. Because now I'm telling my boys who ain't even on the team, and they think they can break the rules too because they came with me, right? So now, and the average player that's at the door, right? He's black. He's probably got about 5 or 10 grand in his pocket. He don't care. So to give you $100 for 5 of his dudes out of dress code, he don't care. He just want to do what he wants to do at your party. But now that I've done that, I run things now. I've flipped the tables on you because now I know I can just pay you to get what I want. Right? Now, that's one thing. So immediately on this Friday night party, once I got it, right, then I'm fast forwarding here from things that happened, but it became like one of the hottest Friday night parties. So immediately open the door at 10 o'clock. Ladies were free before 11. Yeah. First drink on us. We had a first drink thing on us, whatever. But then we kind of hold the line. So we let a few in. We kind of hold the line. We're playing with the line, right? So look at your face already, Misty. You're kind of like, what? You're playing with the line, right? So the line's building, right? So we let a few people, people got in, right? So a few people got in. 11 o'clock, I shifted. Guys are already at $10. Guys are at $10 before 11 already. At 12 o'clock. Everybody's $20.
Okay.
And right next to that, I got a VIP line. That's $40. You know what VIP got you?
What?
It got you. Yeah, 3 steps maybe. That's it. You didn't have any more privileges. You didn't have any more privileges at all. You just got in because we were selling sections back then. Before the pandemic hit, we were doing sections for like 4,000, 5,000. Get you 8 people behind a rope and maybe a couple of bottles. And we were paying this money. We were paying this money weekly. And I know 3, 4, 5 spots here that we're getting it all through the week. Here's the other thing about Tampa that people, I can't say I'm proud of it all because Tampa became scam central. It was only second to I think we fell second to Miami for a while. We fell second to Atlanta for a while, but they were doing this thing here called drops. And if you Google it, Google Tampa tax lady, right?
Just kidding.
They were doing this thing here where they were literally doing people's taxes and stealing their money. So you would go to do your taxes and your taxes would already be done. And it was a crazy crime here. And the main person that was doing it was this girl. She was like numero uno. They said that they think that she ultimately got like 8 million, but they only got her a cop. Maybe like 7, 8 years ago, maybe.
Okay. Right on.
But she was calling herself First Lady. This girl came to my party every Friday and gave me $100 just to shout her name out. I never saw her until they put her on the front of the newspaper when they had caught her. But I never, but literally she was coming in every Friday, giving me $100. Like all I had to do was say First Lady in the house. The crime was so crazy that, and it wasn't even a guy crime. It was mostly a female. And I'm trying to make sure I use the proper term because I don't want you guys to get your podcast red lighted.
Flagged.
Yeah.
Don't get us flagged.
It was like a lot of like, because, okay, I'll put it this way. It was a lot of people that were in like the medical field because you needed the information. And the information is your social security number and your address, right? That's the first information that you need. And they were calling it drops because you got your tax. They would do your taxes. And then for some reason, the IRS would send a debit card and then the money would get dropped on a debit card. You had military people coming back in the country trying to do their taxes. They were like, your tax has been done like twice. It was such a crazy crime. And when they didn't know how to prosecute it at first. And Tampa was like number 1 in this crime for years. And when I can show you pictures, the amount of money that was being spent in International Mall and Gucci. And that's when I say like what we were doing with the money. Like when the girl got caught, she was in cahoots, they said, with her boyfriend and her brother. The brother had a Camaro that he had put like 80 grand into that had made the whole car chrome. They had like a $30,000 birthday party for a 1-year-old. This all stuff was in the paper. It was like ridiculously crazy amount of money that was being spent.
Literally want to Google this whole situation as soon as we're done with this.
Yeah,
going to read into this.
Yeah, and it was like real. So the amount of money that was here was crazy. And then just in this last 2 years, Tampa was high up on the list of PPP fraud. So
yes, that COVID. I mean, COVID brought,
Yeah. Tampa is high up on the list of PPP fraud that they're getting ready to come down on left and right. So it's just been a lot of money here, right? So I guess to my point of like what we did with the money though, you know, it was never get buildings. It was never like create some kind of a plan for wealth. It was like, oh, I'm going to buy Gucci. Oh, I'm going to buy bottles. Oh, I got all the yacht. Not even that. It was like, no, buy belt. I'm buying all the belt buckles. That's what they were doing. It was that. It was really crazy. So, you know, so to my point, it's like we aren't taught that. And that's a big deal to me too. It's like we have to be in the business, but I can't totally blame one side because I even talk to my promoter friends that do a lot of shows here, right? We'll spend $300,000-$400,000 on an act. Rod Wave, Lil Baby, Da Baby, all these guys, right? But we don't go and talk to like city officials to talk to them about how we can work with them and, you know, and do things better with the city to support our events and also be events that they want in the city. Like we have the capital a lot of times. So that's to me is what we do wrong. When you look at other nationalities that'll go, you go, well, how are they doing this event? And the mayor's there and it's all, they're on this cheesy show that comes on after Good Morning America because they're going to ask the questions. And to me, that's what we have to change too. And that's what I want to break a lot of our kids out of. Like all the cops aren't bad. All the city officials aren't bad. No. But you have to get up sometimes too and go find the information. And maybe you should be a part of that and help make change.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
So,
it's
look at all these things.
Though.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to change these things in my t-shirt. That's all I'm doing. I wear sneakers to all these meetings, which I think is the coolest thing.
Hey, we're both sneakerheads. We get it.
Wear all these sneakers to these meetings. But but I mean, like as a city though, like I really like it. I like a lot of what's going on here. As a sports city, I have to say it's like probably one of the best places to be because, you know, and I make a lot of jokes about the Bucks because like I said, I fell in love with being a part of it all. But even like you look at the Lightning, right? I mean, COVID aside, 2 years ago, we won the Stanley Cup. We were in the World Series because of the Rays. We won the Super Bowl. And even the Rowdies, the soccer team, were like co-champions.
Yeah. Tampa Bay Rowdies. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, sports wise, they really have a lot going on here, you know, and it's a lot going on here. It's a really good foodie city. It's a lot, and it's Florida, you know, so there's a lot of good things going on here. But to me, I just feel like if some things need to be changed, and I also just want to learn more about my city and be a part of it and how things go and what's going on, especially as a representation of Black men here. I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right so that the next set of kids who see me like, oh, he's the Bucks DJ, and then they learn my story, or I go somewhere that I can show them something else. Because I think, like, you know, look at what you guys are doing. Like these kids should. This is how much I know they don't know, because I don't know. When I was making the shift out of radio, I was just looking at all kinds of jobs. To Rachel's point earlier, I had no idea the amount of stuff that was going on at Target's corporate. Entertainment, marketing, and artists, dealing with artists. I was like, Target? Wait a minute. I just go in here to get all this other stuff and stare at, you know, middle-aged ladies that are, you know, that are Starbucks. Okay, that's another thing. Right. But, you know, I just go in here and stare at chicks at Starbucks in the middle of the afternoon. But, yeah, but I never even knew the amount of jobs and opportunities that were out there with these companies and stuff like that. So I just know that if we can show them these things, like, they'll be like, oh my God, I didn't know. And who knows what they can do after that.
It's true. All right. So I just want to apologize for calling Tampa the armpit of Florida.
Wow.
No, I know. I went down for like 2 weeks, and my mentor lives down there, and a lot of my guys train there during off season, and the property values were insane. And I stayed in the Airbnb, and I just remember like traveling around, like just the outer skirts mostly. And I thought, why is it so expensive to live here? Like, it's 30 minutes from the ocean. Like, I don't get why this is up and coming. But I wasn't in it enough to live it. I wasn't in it enough to breathe it. I didn't understand what I was actually in. I didn't see a part of that. So I appreciate everything that you're teaching me right now, because this has been incredible.
Yeah, but to your point, though, the property values are insane, and I live here. There's I don't know how bad it is all over. I mean, going to New York once a month and knowing what some of my friends pay up there to live in like a bathroom here. It's crazy, but I just happened the other day to be looking at some stuff online, and it's like 600 and some square foot apartments are like $3,000. And I'm like, this is not New York, yo. This is not.
It's Tampa. It's Tampa.
Right. This is not. And it's not like you're next to water either. It's like you're in the middle of the city somewhere and it's like, oh yeah, $3,000 for six. I'm like 600 square feet. Really? $3,000?
Right.
Yeah. So
you guys have a river. Like what? There's a river. There's not an ocean. I was like, why? I'm running the river walk. Why are people paying this? I don't get it.
You're paying that because lots of championship celebrations happen on that river.
I guess.
You know, Tom Brady threw the Lombardi Trophy on that river. That's the river that he tossed it from one boat to another on that river.
Has Tampa been crazier since Tom has joined the Bucks? Like talk just a little bit about like the differences that you've seen, because I bet it's just like.
Man, it's like 200%. Tom Brady. Look. I hate to have to go to the hood on you, but Tom turned this city up. Let me tell you, yes. Tom turned this city up.
That's cool.
We have like the Yankees in off season. So there's always, like you said, somebody that's here, right? People train here and that sort of thing.
Yep.
But when we found out we were getting Tom Brady, ticket sales, you couldn't get one. Like you couldn't, like the Bucks tickets like that. Sure. Right?
Good revenue for the city. Great revenue for the city.
And the stadium on a whole nother level, like every single week. People coming in town, this, that, the other, like they had to see the GOAT was here. And then we won the Super Bowl that year. I mean, he came in 1 year. People were like, he said, yo, who want to win a Super Bowl? Tampa, y'all want to win? All right, I'm coming. And gave us we got a Super Bowl, right? If he don't do nothing else, right? And then to your point, this is how much he's meant. When Tom Brady said he retired, I know so many people who were like done with season tickets. And when he said he was coming back, they could not get those tickets. They could not get those tickets back. They couldn't get them back because people had already.
That's crazy, really?
People had beat them in the line back to get their own tickets. Wow. Another thing, where I used to be in the stadium with my championship treasure chest, DJ booth. It used to be.
We're gonna need to see photos of this.
Yeah, it was a wide open space that people pretty much like. Put it this way: games here are like a day party, right? Yeah. It's like people buy tickets and then so many people are just standing on each end because we have the ship on one end and we have this open space on the other end where everybody's kind of hangs out. You can go right to the concession stands, everything, and you can see everything because we got these screens and the field. This year, when Tom came back, that whole end that I used to be on is now seats. That'll tell you how much it's selling. It's now seats, and they've moved me and Casey, the girl that I share it with, and the drum line, everything else. We've all moved to the deck by the ship, but that whole other end is now seats, and they are selling. That's the Tom Brady effect. Like when he left, everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm out of here, man. Hey, go get them season tickets." When he said he was coming back, I got friends who are so mad. I couldn't get my tickets back, man. They got me sitting. They got me sitting. Breathe. I'm just saying, like, do you know somebody? Yo, I mean, I know I took a picture with Tom, but I can't help you. I can't help you.
Isn't that how it is? Hey, do you know somebody that can?
it's do you know somebody? And I took that picture with Tom Brady, and everybody was like, "Oh, I know he can help now." No, I can't help.
Nah. That's not how that goes.
I can't help. No. But yeah, he's had like in a really good way. I mean, all the way even down to like when you talk about people, you guys are in this sports thing for real, right? And so you guys see players and stuff like that. They said that Bruce Arians told him when he came here that we already have the team. We need you. Yeah. Like to get the guys to understand. And I really do believe I don't think Jameis was a bad quarterback. I just think that Tom, because of all that he's accomplished and being who he is, he's that much more of a leader though. And they buy in, right? They buy in. And to me, the city has bought in. It's like, he shows up at an event and it's like he came to Mike Evans' foundation thing that I was DJing and the whole mood changed in the room. I was like, yeah, the GOAT's here. Yeah, the GOAT's here. And then when he walked up on stage and started talking to me about music, and then he was like, "We're going to take this picture." Yo, everybody goes, Ekin, you look the happiest you've ever been. And I go, all I wanted was, I kind of just froze and was like, yo, just get this picture because I don't know if he's going to be okay with taking another one if this one doesn't come out right. I just didn't move because he was just that kind of a dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I think if I would have met Michael Jackson, it probably would have been the same way. But he was just like or I haven't met Jordan, right? My brother's met Jordan, and he's met my brother.
We talked about this, like you and your brother's competition on like goat photos.
And my brother has a picture with Tupac, so he says I'm never gonna catch that, but so it's like, but it's kind of like that, and he was like such a cool dude to be who he is, So I just think that what he's meant to the city, if he doesn't do anything else. I mean, we got to make the playoffs, but if he doesn't, what he's given us in 3 years and given them as an organization, I don't think that anybody has anything to complain about. I don't, as a fan and as a person that gets, like, even me, people are like, "You gonna DJ?" I was like, maybe after this season, there might be another reconsideration, but I'm going to stay on the retirement tour. There's no way I'm jumping off the boat right now. If he's here, I am here, So it's been great though. It's been great.
Good.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Well, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but are you guys coming to visit? Aren't you guys bringing the young phenom here?
So I think you and I talked about this. Like I want to be there, and I've looked at flights. I've contemplated like just taking a red eye back, but because my guys charter back like the same night, like literally when the game ends, they're on that plane within 45 minutes of the game ending, and they're already on the way back, and they expect me to be ready the next day. So I can't be in Tampa, but I'm really, really sad. Rachel, you're going, right? I think Rachel's going.
I'm trying to go. So I actually have family that live in Tampa, so I've been to Tampa a bunch.
Love
Tampa. I love Tampa. And the cool thing with us is we only travel with the team. The only time we'd ever do an away game was last year when we went to the Super Bowl. Just wanted to point that out. So we did go to the Super Bowl last year. So we have,
No, I just want to point out though, your number one team, it was us at the Super Bowl. Just saying. Just saying.
But no. But we don't go to away games. So I am going to try and come to Tampa. So if I'm there, I gotta meet up and all that fun stuff. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. If you guys both come, I'll do my best to make sure you get tickets.
Really? Now you're making me want to make it happen.
Misty, we're gonna have to make this happen now.
If you guys get all the way here, even though I know you're kind of gonna be rooting for the other team, my brothers came. They're like two of my big brothers in this hip hop game, right? Troy Marshall and Corey Sparks, and they hit me like 2 days before the Rams game, and they were like, "Yo," and I'm like, "What up?" They're like, "You got tickets by any chance?" And Troy has been so dope to me that Troy like gave me a Super Bowl ticket before. Like he's like, "Yo, we're on the Super Bowl, right?" So anything I can do for them, I'm gonna call, right? So I made a call and I was like, I got my hands on too. You guys, They was like, "Don't worry about us. We cool sitting together. We good." Cause everybody's family. Man, they did just what you said though. They got here, showed up in Rams gear, mistake number one, but they had their jacket. I knew what they were here for. And they, but it was crazy though, because, they took pictures in my treasure chest and everything, and everybody's all buttoned up tight, right? As soon as they get out, it's like Rams. I'm like, man, get out of here with that, whatever. But it was such a good time and so good to see them because, everybody, we all love this sports thing. We always have our teams or whatever. But I will promise, if you guys come, I will save you. Well, we got to know. Just let me know soon because people are going to ask. But
I'm sure,
especially if it's a podcast, you're done.
I know it's you guys' team, and we're all family. If you guys can make it here, though, I'll make sure that you guys, if you guys get into, watch the other quarterback. Okay. The other quarterback.
Honestly, it's going to be a great game.
It should be a good game.
It'll be a great game.
Yeah.
So I always ask my guys, anytime I get one of the newer players into my office, I always ask them, like, listen, we all have some sort of pro athlete that we kind of crush on. For me, I don't actually have a football player that person is. I have NBA players, I have MLB players, but I don't actually have an NFL player that I have a celebrity crush on. But for them, it's always either NBA or it's going to be an NFL guy. And I'm going to, like 50% of the time, the guys are like Tom Brady, that's my NFL crush. So even though this is the guy that we're playing, and even one of my defense tackles, he literally, his first appointment with me was, I said, who's your NFL crush? And he was like, Tom Brady. And I actually just got my first photo with him as I tackled him.
No.
I was like, there you go. You got to frame that. You got to frame it. That's your goat. So
I think they said the guy in the Cowboys the other day that he threw the interception to, that guy wouldn't give the ball up. He's like, nah, bro. I intercepted Tom Brady, dude. I'm keeping this ball, dude.
It's magic. I got to keep it. Yeah. He's the GOAT. We're keeping it.
Nobody's getting this ball. So where's your family out here in Tampa?
Odessa, Lando Lakes area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Out a little bit.
Yeah, a little. Yeah. So
I know those.
I've been there. But I've been there. I've been to Tampa so many times. So I love it for like holidays and all that stuff. So, but it's changed in like a good way, and I can tell for sure. Like you mentioned, just like with all the sports and everything going on, like it's crazy, but in a good way. But the real estate market's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a like I said, there's a bunch good happening here, and like people ask me all the time, is this my final spot? And I kind of like got my townhouse like before all the chaos. Yeah. So it's kind of like tripled in value, but I actually have a mortgage that you should have here, right? I don't have one of these like, dude, why is that mortgage like that? You know, I'll look at these places and I'll be like, bro, and they'll build something new, and oh my God, the prices they're putting on that stuff, but it's just what it is. And I think it's all gonna like, because I've seen this before. When I was in college, I had bought a house and it got all crazy like this. And even when I sold my house in college, I was like, well, I did this and this and this to this house already, and we sold it for this. How much more equity can the next person get into it? You know, so, and I already hear things are going a different, though things are starting to go a different way. But when you talk about like, you know, tech and stuff like that, and the things that they're trying to do here, though, I think that they have like, you know, I think it's a lot of good planning going into it. And I'm happy here. I think the only thing I miss, but I like I said, I go to New York once a month now, is I miss seasons, because I do. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be Cincinnati cold, but
it's not that bad. It's not that cold. I promise. I'm from Buffalo, so
that's why it ain't bad in Cincinnati.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
You're from Canada. You're from Canada, lady. Yeah.
True.
If you were living here, you'd be coming to Cincinnati talking about, I am never. Man, I went to New York, like not this past winter, but the last winter, and we were down by Hudson Yards, whatever it's called now, my nephew, whatever, right? We had to walk backwards. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, I was like, bro, this is ridiculous. Right? I was like, I don't even know why we want to eat at this hour. Why? Like, it was that bad. Oh. And but I miss sweaters. I miss coats. I miss the layers and how you can rock like gear, because down here you have to watch it. If you're not going to an office every day and you kind of like halfway run your own operation like I do, because I got like a double life. I kind of like run my own operation, but then I'm also entertainment and special events director for this company called Sun Pubs here, that we have like, 13 restaurants and clubs. So it's kind of like a double full life, but I never have to go into an office or anything, right? And if we do, everybody's got on shorts, because these are restaurant guys, right? Yeah. These are, it's like, these are like beach restaurant guys. So you get into this habit of shorts and t-shirts, and you're like, wait a minute, dude, like I want to put on a shirt. Like I gotta like get dressed today, dude, get dressed. And that's what I have to remind myself, is it'll be shorts and a different pair of sneakers every day. And I don't want to do that all the time. But I love it.
This is bad, but when COVID happened, I could work from home, right? So I spent a couple weeks with family in Tampa, and we'd have meetings. And so my aunt, I stayed with her, and they have a pool there. And so it's beautiful. I love it. They live on a little lake. And so I would, do my work, and I could, relax, and loved the weather there. But if we'd get sometimes, not all the time, sometimes if I had like a Zoom meeting, especially like, around before, after lunchtime, I would hop on the Zoom meeting, and I have like, my suit jacket on, or a dress, a nice top, suit jacket. But like on the bottom, I would have my bathing suit.
I was going to say, she had a bathing suit on.
And you've seen all those, like the memes, or like, the whatever videos of like the people that like stand up, and then they're in boxers. Like, boxers. I was like, I would have to tell myself, Rachael, remember to like sit down, do not stand up, like just, you know, do your thing, look presentable. And then afterwards, you know, for lunch, you can go lay out and enjoy some stuff. Like I'd be ready to go. So
take that jacket off like a superhero. Be like right in the pool.
Oh, that was the best part.
Yeah.
So.
Those Zoom meetings were getting crazy, right? People think their camera's off and they're getting up and you're like, dude, no one needs to see you walk across the room in your boxers, dude, in your dress shirt.
or they'd be in a Zoom meeting. You'd see like their spouse in the background, like coming out of the shower, like
yeah. Like, dude, you need to go in another room, dude, to let your wife get dressed in here, buddy.
I did have one time where I thought my Zoom was off and I was like eating some breakfast and then I was like, whoops, I am on. Okay, let's turn this off. Other than that though, I haven't had any crazy like Zoom. I was on mute, so that was a good thing too.
Yeah, I checked the Zoom camera like 4 times. Like, is that on? Right? Is that off? Like, because the Zoom, you just don't even know. You'll be like,
who's looking at me right now?
Right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. We had a very special guest, DJ Ekin from Tampa, Florida with us this evening. Had an amazing time with him. Remember that you can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Apple and Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube on our very own channel, Sports and Ish with Misty V and Rachael Leigh. We will see you guys so very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.